Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Space Marine 2 video. Today will be a very quick video. I'm just going to cover a few things here, and this is going to be an update to the previous video I'd made a little bit a while ago. It was the Shield Bash video, where we go over a Shield Bash build, and ever since 7.0 and the recent addition to the Prestige perks, with 7.0 and the rework of the weapon perks themselves, this has changed the build as well as the Power Fist. So we'll cover the Power Fist first, just to showcase exactly what's changed with it, and that makes the Shield Bash build really good with it, but also just the Power Fist in general. And then we'll showcase the Shield Bash, what you can do with it now instead. So starting off, we have extra melee damage by 5%. This is actually really important. Heavy preparation, giving you 30% speed increase to your charge attacks, means that you can actually trade some of the response attacks that enemies will have, that the Majoris have, I should say. And this allows you to be able to charge it as fast as they're doing their attack, so you can actually trade into each other. And if you spam E then, or whatever your execute would be if you're on console here, it actually lets you just infinitely trade as long as you time it correctly. Then going into more melee damage. Then here, this is another very important one, focused intention. And the reason why focused intention is so good is that below 30% health, you take 50% less health damage while preparing heavy attacks. The reason, again, why this is so important and useful is that you can charge up, and as soon as you let go of your attack, you're going to put someone into execute range. And if you're taking 50% less damage while charging a heavy attack for your health, that means you're going to be able to survive almost any damage dealt to you, unless it's a massive damage attack, like a boss attack, for instance, or potential orange attack, depending on what it is even. Then here, this is also really important, Tide of Battle, giving you the power wave increase from 4 to 8, which is on all of your heavy attacks, and that just makes it so that they have really good range. Going up, this is a great one, Following Blow. Any Backfist or Backfist 2 can now be followed up, or can be performed after a thrust jab or a hammer hook. It also doesn't say it, but it also applies to a cannon punch as well, where you can do it immediately afterwards. Going down though, you have it here. While performing a heavy take, you take 20% less range damage. And again, this works with the focus intention. So you're getting a 70% bonus if they do it additively, and if they do it multiplicatively, it's even better. So you're taking such little damage while charging a heavy attack that you can just keep trading at low HP, which actually makes this a really good low HP build. Then we have a combo. After a successful heavy attack, the next light attack deals 10% more melee damage. This is just good because it goes into the next tree, which is really important, which is Majoris Slayer, doing an extra 10% to all Majoris enemies. Again, this is really useful and helpful to set up the breakpoints, but as well as getting you the damage required to just hurt anything that's heavy if you're not going for the one-hit execution to set up. Now, covering the Power Fist, we're going to move into the skill tree itself, which is the bread and butter of this build. And we'll start with the Prestige perks. The really important one here is Overcharge. Charged attack damage increases by 20%. This does affect your Power Fist, which means that your Shield Bash actually does not need to be as strong, because your Power Fist is doing all of the work now, which does apply to one of our skills later on. So we will cover that. Now, your build can also be applied a little bit differently depending on what faction you're fighting, obviously, so that matters. So the first one you'll want is Forward Momentum, though. This is a mandatory, giving you the 30% damage increase for 10 seconds on Shield Bash. This is really good, and it gives you that threshold damage increase that you need. Then we have Shock and Awe if you are fighting against Tyranids, or Armor of Contempt if you're fighting against Chaos. Either one of these work. Before, this build used to be a lot better with the Chaos faction, I would say, but with the recent changes and the perks getting reworked, the Power Fist does really good against the Majoris for Tyranids as well now, and it's always done good against Extremis. So you do not need to worry about taking this to like an exclusively Chaos-centered fight now. You can bring both. And then again, depending on what you're fighting, a perfectly timed parry or block creates a shock area. Again, that's good for Tyranids. And then if your health is less than 50%, you take 30% less health damage, which is really good for Chaos since it's all ranged. So again, it really incentivizes the low health build where you can do super good damage with it. I always do Advanced Conditioning. Contested health fades 50% more slowly for all squad members. This is also especially good, especially if you're doing this where you're going for trades with this weapon constantly, where you know you're going to take a hit, but you're going to get all of your health back immediately, and you're going to get an armor pit back. This is what I recommend then, because it lets you trade even better. Now for this one here, You can take focus strength, which makes them knock down and be stunned longer. It's not necessary. And instead, then you can focus on rapid regeneration or purity of purpose now. And rapid regeneration is a great one for chaos, and purity of purpose is really good for Tyranids. So again, you get a flavor pick depending on what you want and what you build into. And then here, this is where we actually sacrificed a necessary perk after the update, since it is not needed anymore. And now you can go into Glory Shield or Invigorating Icon. I prefer Glory Shield because then you can drop the banner, take even less damage, and then you start doing heavy charge trades with every enemy around you. Now, it doesn't last for 20 seconds anymore, or 15 seconds, or whatever it was, because of rapid regeneration if you're fighting Chaos. But against Tyranids, if you have purity of purpose, then this is a really good damage field you can just fight in. And then the last one here is Merciless Resolve. This is also for the shield bash. You still need this, but again, not losing hit on heavy hits is really good. You'd have to double stack on another uncontrolled knockdown effect if you wanted complete immunity, but this helps you take lesser hits without getting stumbled, which means that you can charge up your attack and actually go for executions again. And then finally, Defensive Mastery is just really good, I would say, just in general, because then Majoris or Extremis can just be instantly executed. But these are the big changes. Now, there should be B-roll playing while you're watching this, hopefully. So I hope you enjoyed the B-roll footage. And then I'm going to play a little bit more B-roll footage after this so you can kind of see the damage and kind of see what it does. And I'm going to throw up some clips here for you to look at that shows the bosses getting hit by this, where you're taking almost a quarter of health, if not a quarter of health a hit. And this is from one charge attack. And if you're fighting a boss and someone else is engaged with it and you keep doing this, you're going to kill the boss in less than, we'll say, 15 seconds or less, depending on what the boss is and your team comp. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of these clips that just kind of showcase this build real quick, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye. Executable.
Okay. Like, not all the skins are available for all players now.
That was just mega damage. Boom.